I'm a rover, seldom sober. I'm a rover by degree. It's when I'm drinking, I'm always thinking how to gain me love's company. It's when I'm drinking, I'm always thinking how to gain me love's company. And tell me, Shannon, tell me why it's so. Hush a boy, now hush and listen, and his cheeks were all aglow. I've a orders from the captain, get you ready quick and soon, for the pikes must be together by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, for the pikes must be together by the rising of the moon. Out of many a mud wall cabin eyes are watching through the night. Many manly heart was thumping for that coming morning light. Silence carried down that burrow, broken by that banshee's tune, as 1,000 pikes are flashing by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, as 1,000 pikes are flashing by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, as 1,000 pikes are flashing by the rising of the moon. Craig Albee, Rose Albright, Ben Allen, Bertha Allen, Tom Anderson, Tim Antonelli, Dan Osnick, Mary Atwood, Ray Babineau, Nick Bonavak, John Bailey, Catherine Baldry, Dave Barker, Roy Barrett, Jack Berry, Rich Berry, Jack Barsanti, Bill Barth, Bobby Barth, Eva Bartels, Mary Birch, Tony Bermagenden, Al Beavis, Ali Beavis, Butch Beavis, Frank Beavis, Freg Beavis, Sturwood Beavis, Sylvia Beavis, Toby Beavis, Denny Bennett, Father Jeff Bensu, Ed Bertilliet, Joe Berge, Bill Bertog, Bob Berry, Dot Berry, Stan Blackwood, John Blackwood, Don Blackwood, Wendy Blackwood, Gare Blashfrock, Phil Blashfrock, Mike Buse, Lee Boggs, Rudy Buxick, Tom Bottoner, Tom Barton Trin, Floyd Bossard, Lucas Bossard, Margaret Bossard, George Boston, Enda Bowman, Doyas Boyle, Mary Boyle, Tom Boyle, Mike Boyes, Bruce Britton, Earl Britton, Julie Britton, Paul Burton, Junior Brown, Tom Bursty, Marlon Bublik, Art Bugney, Good Bugney, Ted Burry, Thad Butcher, Father Harry Buttori, Mike Cable, Harold Cady, Marina Calvert, Ray Campani, Frank Campbell, Marg Cannon, Lewis Carlin, Jerry Carlson, Tom Carlin, Betty Carroll, Earl Casagranda, Gary Casagranda, Joseph Casagranda, Louis Casagranda, John Cashel, Mark Carisse, Mike Carisse, Rick Carisse, Ted Carisse, Erna Casarini, Kevin Sherbanu, Agnes Chase, Don Chase, Jim Chase, Alex Chavez, Judy Shalini, Rosemary Shalini, Theresa Shikowski, Art Childs Jr., Lerona Childs, Ted Childs, Claudia Clark, Glory Clark, Anne Clearly, Bill Clearly, Robert Coleman, Erina Colenso, Louis Colenso, Mark Comstock, Mary Cumlin, Frank Cumby, Clarence Cooper, Annie Coperi, Dave Capone, Bill Carconi, Jim Cortese, Harpcote, Kathy Covington, Lewis Caradoc, Mark Cadrick, Melissa Crosby, Shirley Crotry, Frank Crowley, Melissa Crowley, Sean Curry, Jim Curtin, Steve Shue, Jim Daly, Nick Daly, Tom Janowski, Deline Davis, Ron Davis, Charlene Delaney, Virginia Delaney, Ed Derney, Art Dick, Sean Dick, Robin Dick, Larry Didis, Lewis Didis, Mamie Dome, Yavina Donaldson, Betty Dorr, Bill Dorr, Bob Doyle, Tom Doyle, Pat Diskel, Walt Duffy, Doug Dammy, Alice Duncan, Greg Dundies, Terry Dunphy, Deddy Dunn, Vic Darren, Sean Dewar, Mark Dewar, Rosemary Dissinger, Ralph Herbert, Joe Ehrlich, Mayor Ehrlich, Mike Ehrlich, Dave Erickson, Bob Everly, Randy Farrell, Ted Farrell, Patrick Farron, Faulkney, Mike Faulkney, Phyllis Feeney, Jim Furlan, Sue Fisher, Vince Fisher, Bill Fisher, Billy Fisher, Dave Fisher, Judy J. Fisher, Mark Fleming, Pat Fletcher, Ken Flink, Bill Flynn, Joe Forbes, Donnie Foreman, Betty Foreigner, Chuck Foreigner, Ron Foreigner, Ed Franklin, Sam Fretchen, Court Freeman, Michael Fries, Leroy Farrell, John Fromm, Mickey Fuller, Frank Gardner, Agnes Geegan, Art Geary, Earl Getzker, Glenn Gary, Silver Gochini, Hoot Gibson, Don Gilbert, Jim Gilman, Jim Gleason, Pat Green, Frank Grady, Dave Grant, Cindy Gordon, John Gordon, Barry Goldwater, Mary Gibbon, Mike Gibbon, Bo Gronmez, Mary Hackett, Mike Hamblin, Jean Hanley, Mary Hanley, Brooks Hanna, David Hansel, Dorothy Hanson, Don Harrington, Judy Harrington, Edwin Hart, Jocelyn Hartwig, Ellen Hartz, Dan Haas, Agnes Healy, Tom Herholzer, Bob Hirstrom, Bedriga Hendricks, Beeve Haim, Josh Hoare, Farger Fuhrer, Larry Hoffman, Bill Herget, Mary Holland, Barbara Holter, Crystal Hortling, Mike Horg, Valerie Horg, Tom Hughes, Iron Humber, Jocelyn Hunt, Rihanna Isaacson, Ina Jakes, Art James, George James, Kate James, Painter James, Ron James, Sandy James, Don Jeffrey, John Jeffrey, Mike Jeffrey, Bob Julik, Helen Johnson, Jim Johnson, Dottie Johnson, Tubby Johnson, Turtle Johnson, Casey Johnston, Dan Johnston, Dick Johnston, Jim Johnston, Len Johnston, Jug Jones, Tova Jones, Joe Jordan, Mike Cadillac, Mike Caravan, Jim Keeney, Kevin Keeney, Don Keeley, that's my cane, Bob Kelly, Tom Kennelly, Connie Kenny, Jim Creto, Mike Kearns, Mike Keys, Stan Kimmett, Betty Kissock, Mary Closher, Bob Knutson, D. Kutch, Don Kalma, Bob Caprific, Art Korn, Joe Kavik, Jim Kavik, Hale Kramer, Bob Kruger, Judy Kavik, Andy Kujwa, Jim Kujwa, Joe Kujwa, Mike Kakay, Mitzi Lacey, Joe Lake, Sharon Lorando, Melissa Lorando, Lynn Lorando, Kevin Lorando, Ray Loshvik, Nick Loshvik, Sick Lance, Andy Larson, Bill Lavelle, Gary Jean, Jim Leary, Rick LeBou, Bob Legou, Bob Lee, Joe Lee, Larry Lee, Pat Lee, Rob Lee, Tim Lee, Bob Lehemmer, Fred Leitz, Jen Lemlin, Lob Leprosy, Helen Leprosy, George Lewis, Glenn Lewis, Shane Lewis, Ray Lilly, Bob Lindham, Wally Lindquist, Mary Loeb, Sherry Lockery, Addie Long, Tom Loggins, Dave Long, Lynn Long, Louis Lucian, Mary Lucian, Gary Luchvish, Lunk Loney, Jack Lynch, Jim Lynch, Dick Lyons, Ron Lyons, Felix Madraus, Jim Milish, Dan Melia, Mary Melavok, Bill Markovic, Ed Markovic, Katie Matuna, Frank Martinch, Marilyn Manson, Gray Matu, Jim Matu, Chris Matu, Aaron Mavis, Ewan Maria, Stan Maria, Bob Bear, Brian Mizuke, Dan McCain, Joe McCarthy, Ralph McCurgy, Owen McCoot, Sam McKinley, Mark McKirven, Joe McGrath, Ellen McGree, Mike McGree, Tuck McGree, Murray McIntry, Bob McKenna, Bill McLellan, Jack McLellan, Mickey McLellan, Mike McLellan, Nancy McLellan, Bob McLean, Sarah McInnes, Sis Mains, John Melcher, Robert Misbley, Bruce Metcalf, Lil Metz, Phil McCuskey, Jim McKelty, Frank Milan, Don Millis, John Millis, Claire Mick, Jim Moe, Joe Mohan, Bob Moodry, Jen Mueller, Aaron Mueller, Dan Mueller, Morris McCauley, Joan Murphy, Bill Navarra, Joe Navarra Jr., Miss Rick Navarra, Rita Navarra, Steve Navarra, Harold Nelson, Ray Nelson, Ann Nettles, Dennis John Nettles, Dick Nichols, Ellen Nixon, William Nocter, George Nolte, Jim Novak, Earl Nye, Bob O'Bill, Joyce O'Bill, Jim O'Boyle, Pat O'Boyle, Bob O'Connor, Kay O'Connor, Mick O'Connor, Oki O'Connor, Tom O'Connor, Palmer, Mickey Palmer, Joe Pelteri, Paul Pelteri, Shelley Panelin, Don Peoples, Marg Peoples, Walt Pagari, Bill Perini, Bill Pershke, Josh Pershke, Keo Peters, Steve Peterson, Marty Patritz, Ann Petroni, Ferg Petroni, Dan Pittman, Kerry Powers, Margie Powers, Catherine Price, Meryl Fridge, Patty Pryor, Jim Purcell, Bill Queer, Joe Kelsey, Margie Quinn, Sis Quinn, Frank Rabb, Tom Riddleman, Rose Rail, Chrissy Rainey, Frank Ralph, Minnie Ralph, Shirley Rand, Don Ramirez, Craig Raymond, Ron Reagan, Dan Reagan, Judy Reagan, Pat Reedon, Bob Rebish, Dan Rebish, Betty Renner, John Richards, Larry Ritz, Bessie Ritz, Henry Ritz, Joe Roberts, Dan Romer, Clarence Roper, Mel Rowling, Nancy Savage, Nick Sroitovic, Ken Schlien, Kathy Schulmeyer, Ray Schulmeyer, Ann Schupfer, Bob Schultz, Steve Schultz, Catherine Scott, Alfie Seymour, Leon Schaffer, Walt Sharkey, Catherine Shee, Ellen Shee, Grain Shee, John T. Shee, Sean Sheeman, Mark Sherrick, Angelus Shiner, Jack Sheepley, Joe Sheberg, Sheely Shebert, Cindy Silk, Dan Silk, Helen Silk, Natalie Silver, Ray Silver, Marion Simmons, David Simmons, Joan Simmons, Richard Simmons, and Anne Shimnook. Thank you very much for your volunteership. Alas, my love, you do me wrong to cast me off so discourteously, for I have loved and lived so long, delighting in your company. Rain sleeves was all my love, rain sleeves was my delight, rain sleeves was my heart and soul, and who but my lady green sleeves, and who but my lady green sleeves. Alas, my love, farewell, adieu. God, I pray to comfort thee, for I have thy lover true, come once again and love me. Rain sleeves was all my love, rain sleeves was my delight, rain sleeves was my heart and soul, and who but my lady green sleeves, and who true, but my lady green sleeps. Alas, my love, farewell, adieu. God, I pray to comfort thee, for I am still thy lover true, who come once again and love me. Come and tell me, shall tell me when you heard me so. Hush, a boy, now hush and listen, and his cheeks were all aglow. I brought orders from the captain, sure ready, quick and soon, for the pikes must be together by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, for the pikes must be together by the rising of the moon. Now to many a well cabin eyes are watching the night, many a manly heart was thumping for that coming morning light. Silence carried down that broken by that banshee's tune, as 1,000 pikes a flashing by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, as 1,000 pikes a flashing by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, as 1,000 pikes a flashing by the rising of the moon.
Then we also said, look up at that lonely tree. Doesn't it look like?
Mm-hmm.
It's only been 40 years. Well, less than, but no. 85. That's when it was finished.
Mm-hmm.
See, I guess it's been 40 years.
Yeah, we're recording this in 2019.
Not quite 40.
Yep.
But why don't we build stuff like that still?
It's a good question. And every single one of these trees that you see a little plaque with, actually, I think every single one of these trees was planted for a family member.
Palm trees.
Yeah.
Yep, they're family trees. That's a good stuff. There's your living memorial trees.
And a list of family names and where you can find them.
Inside Our Lady of the Rockies. Has a bunch of pictures and placards and rosaries and church groups, walking staffs, and all inside of her too. Cement. That'd be another fun thing about if they get the tram up here. You could take the tram off, get off,
Spend a lot longer.
and spend a lot longer. There's all of this.
There's a lot up here.
Yeah.
How much time we got, John?
Yeah, just a couple minutes left is what he said.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop it at the bottom of the stairs. Oh,
Oh,
you're fine.
Huh?
And then all those names are mothers.
Look at that.
All mothers from 26 different countries, all the states, and tons of years, dating back to the 1800s to the 2017 looks to be the end.
Coming down wasn't worth the stairs.
Coming down was worth the stairs.
These stairs, right?
Oh, yeah, there's a ramp.
Yeah, I went up the ramp.
Yeah, it starts at 1859
Through it, I said,
with Franziska Huntley, and it ends 2017 with Nancy Seaman. I'm not going to read all these like I read the volunteers. One, I don't have the time. And two, I don't have the footage. We're just gonna do a quick walkie round. And then back on the bus to bump and jump and die as we roll our way back down the mountain. Crushing and banging and bashing and wailing. Oh. To all mothers we dedicate Our Lady of the Rockies, the third tallest statue in the whole of the world, here in Butte, Montana. There she is, watching out on those people who spent 6 years working, toiling, and all their money and time and body into placing her here to watch over. We thank you.